into Perks' Zoe and constantly doing ults and then allowing the rest of the team to follow up. So I think that's going to be a priority pick, and it allows so much flexibility in terms of the hyper carries that you can play alongside Thresh.
The one thing I'll say though is with the Aphelios and Kalista ban, those are two of the people that you're primarily going to pair her up, Thresh up with, excuse me. So with that off the table, I can see TSM delaying it a little bit more and going for other power picks like these two, because you don't want to give up Varus and then give up these two picks as well. And then, you know, at that point, there's still so many supports. Like Varus can play with Leona, Varus can play with Nautilus. He can kind of play with anything. So I do like going a little bit more focused on the solo lanes and jungle.
Yeah, and I mean, so now we see the Thresh locked in for 100 Thieves, which is going to help, you know, Varus in lane. However, the pick I want to talk about is actually the Olaf.
Yes!
The closer is so comfortable on this pick. And this is, I'm really glad that they've kind of shifted to trying to find picks for closer that he's really, really comfortable on. We previously saw the Graves, which we've also seen, and Graves is more of a damage carry and requires setup. Olaf can just run at you. He has a lot of agency, and closer is incredibly comfortable and confident on this pick.
Yeah, this is actually really interesting to see the Viego and Diana both taken in the same pick. I think it's interesting if you want to deny two of the top tier jungle picks, but Viego did just get nerfed in lane, so he's not quite as good in lane because he has less sustain, and he got buffed in jungle, and Diana's also a jungler, so this might be TSM saying, hey, look, despite the nerfs, we still think this is a good laning pick, and we know PoE has played it before and seen reasonable amount of success, and it could go to either Huni or PoE.
100 Thieves looking to target those mid laners. Well, TSM takes the Gwen off the table.
Yeah.
I think the other thing that's important for me, I think, is looking at their matchups for the rest of the weekend, because I think this is a really important weekend for 100 Thieves. They also have to play against EG, who are basically, you know, between TSM and them, the three teams competing for #1 right now with only a game back. And I think it's way easier for TSM's schedule, where if they can actually pick up this win, they're probably looking at a 3-0 weekend. Yeah. And then they might actually be able to steal away #1 from 100 Thieves, which is, I think, one of the reasons that all of us were unanimously TSM favored right now.
The other bands, Rise band coming out for 100 Thieves. Rise has been something both teams are comfortable playing.
Yeah, I'm curious to get your guys' thoughts on post-nerf Viego.
I
What
mean,
do you think?
You already kind of hit on the points about like pushing him further
Yeah.
into the jungle with the changes on healing on minions and stuff, because a lot of the play pattern was like, a lot of the melee champions in general, even Akali was like this, you kind of like take some hits, but you're fine because you can kind of have some invisibility or way to approach the wave and then sustain off it and do this kind of stuff. With that being hit more, I think you just have to be more aware of the matchups, because it's not like necessarily just laning power, which this was the bigger of the nerfs that I considered was the healing. In range matchups, it probably feels a lot worse, but if you're just able to play the wave normally, it probably doesn't feel quite too bad. Which is a Lucian ban, which helps against any of those range matchups you're looking at.
Yeah, exactly. Leona for SwordArt, that is.
Yeah.
How do you want to see 100 Thieves comp rounded out here?
Well, personally, I think they need some engage right now, because
Yeah.
right now they're really focused on, you know, Varus, he has, you know, poke, he can run on hit Varus if you want to. You know, Thresh provides the defensive capability, and Olaf can sort of just run at them, but
Getting a Gnar then?
I think some, yeah, like a Gnar makes a lot of sense. We've seen Ssumday thrive on this pick. It gives you side lane pressure in specific matchups as well.
Move over, analyst.
So
I know, I was
think
gonna say,
I have arrived.
Well, there you go, James. All quiet now. You can take the rest of it from here.
All right, cool. I got this.
You want to give me the toss?
Yeah. You take the toss.
No.
I hope you're ready for it.
No.
So we're looking for a mid lane pick here
Yep.
for 100 Thieves. We've already got the Orion and the Lucian off the table, so.
And the Syndra, and that's why I think you saw the Azir hover there.
Yep.
You're starting to get really low. The Cassiopeia did get a buff on this patch, which is something that I think would start climbing priority, because there is this kind of like 5 control mid champions that you always see between Azir, Rise, Orianna,
Cassio,
and Syndra. And most of those are off the table already, and I think that's also why you can see the Sylas come in here.
I'm really curious to see what TSM end up picking.
Our
Here,
expectation
as
is
a
still that they have a
counter
mid laner, right?
Yeah.
To pick.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess technically the
there's a
Viego
Cass.
could still go lane, but Cassio is the one being hovered. So we'll see if the
There
buffs
we
are enough
go.
to make
Yeah.
PowerOfEvil want to lock her in.
Do it! All right.
Yeah!
The buffs are huge. It's 10
Yeah.
damage per level, but off the initial level 1, where it was 10 damage flat, now it's 20. So it's actually doubled.
You doubled.
Yeah, so
That's nutty.
It is pretty insane given how spammable the E is, how much that helps with last hitting, all these different situations. Like, I actually think it makes her substantially stronger in the early game and can probably really harass this Sylas quite a bit.
Yeah, and Sylas actually got his sustain nerfed. right? So this matchup actually just got even harder than it would have been a patch ago. In exchange, he got buffs to his Q, you know, which it makes his damage trades a little bit better if he can land it. So I really like this cast pick. It gives TSM a lot more control in laning phase than we normally associate with them having, with PoE playing a little bit more passively.
So the predictions across the table pre-draft were in favor of TSM. You feel like they drafted enough win conditions and a style that they have enough mastery over to make those predictions come true? Or is this making you rethink a little bit your initial thoughts for the game?
I feel like they got champions that they're all comfortable on, like especially in terms of play style, like Lost being a little more backline, providing utility, PoE, a big control mage carry, Huni with some scrapping potential on the top side. I do like the kind of cohesion of the 100 Thieves comp, though, of being very melee focused, very diving oriented with all the champions that can go in, and then the Varus being set up.
Yeah, I was gonna say with like execution, it's all gonna be on execution for 100 Thieves.
Composition is only one part of the game. It comes down to the players and the teams themselves out there on the Rift. They are into the game. It's time to hand it over to Phreak and Azael, the Doug duo, for the call.
Thank you very much, Dash, and all of the analysts. Welcome onto Summoner's Rift. 100 Thieves and TSM, the top 2 teams in the LCS. Only one of them can remain in first place, and likely one of them will at the end of the weekend. Next week is playoffs, and we've got newly buffed Cassiopeia on the docket for PowerOfEvil. We've got Huni still on Viego post-nerfs. We got the Sylas coming through as well for Abbeddage.
Yeah, it's going to be an exciting one. 100 Thieves as well as TSM 2 games up on the subsequent teams, on the teams below them, with only 3 games to play, so it is very likely it's going to be one of these 2 to finish the top of the table. And I'm really excited to see some of these patch changes coming through, to see how Viego will actually handle this range matchup against Gnar. You know, effectively, the healing off of minions from that Q auto is 10% of what it initially was.
Yeah.
It went from 100% to 50%, now it's at 10%. So it is a pretty big hit. And I'm interested to see, you know, if he will be able to survive against Ssumday, who's gone pretty lane focused with the grasp as well. I'm not sure if he went cheap shot and like really is kind of indexing into some of these powerful trading lane runes, but would be pretty exciting. And it's going to be the early invade here with the Olaf, starting enemy Raptors. And when you have Sylas there, he's not even going to actually use the Q. I was going to say the Q always does make that leash pretty nice, but either way, could be split maps.
PowerOfEvil going to start some damage on Abbeddage. Of note, the buffs to Cassiopeia are the bonus damage that your E deals when they are poisoned. The base damage is 50, and instead of adding 10, it adds 20. So 70 instead of 60 when early trading. And by the way, if you're a Spanish speaker, be sure to check out LCS and Vivo, the Spanish language LCS co-stream at twitch.tv/FlyQuest. Closer continuing to jungle on the top side of the map. Skipping, Krugs running back down to his side, but you can see Spica has done 1 camp and is counter jungling as well.
I wonder if he'll cross map and try to go to his own red and defend that. It looks like he is just going to head towards blue and just kind of go into counter jungling. And when we have these types of scenarios, no, excuse me, he is going to try to get over there.
Okay, so tried to bypass the vision, right? Going around the mid lane, coming down and things. He'll be there at red buff in time, but will he? Spica has smite, and it's going to be in Fog of War. It'd have to be a blind, random axe steal. Auto smite will get it. Spica's got to run away. First axe misses, and the bot lane's on the way. Leona's going to be in range. Flash is going to land, and that's going to be Spica. Sorry, yes, Closer going down. The kill goes to Lost, and now Abbeddage on the way over suddenly finds himself with a lantern to click on, but not much else to do. TSM collapse in time. Spica gets his team first blood.
Oh, that is huge for TSM. Closer with this super powerful early game jungler here in the Olaf, trying to protect his own red buff, trying to get the 3 buff there. Over chases and what seemed like a little bit of frustration is, I mean, he missed back-to-back axes. SwordArt was roaming and just ends up going down, and now Huhi gonna be in a bit of trouble.
And Huhi's gonna, you wait for the 4-shot. You don't flash out of this one. You don't quite kill with the flash out. It was close though. And just puts the fire onto the minions and walks back. But this is Huhi now down to summoners. FBI, of course, had burned Cleanse a while back, but I gotten jumped on a minute ago. And on to the day, now we have a 800 gold lead to TSM.
Yeah, and I mean, it's red buff and first blood on Lost, which is such a big deal. The fact that the Jhin actually got this. So Closer coming down, trying to get the 3 buff here. He wanted to go red to red, but because he took this very long path, he didn't actually cross through mid. Spica's done by the time he gets there. Both the initial axes missed. This axe actually missed as well as Spica jumped behind him. Not that really would have changed things on this fight, and then Lost just from long range with the W. Snipes that kill, getting himself the red buff, has early Swifty boots, so really indexing into the movement speed here against the Thresh, against the Varus. It's a lot of skill shots in this lane. And having that additional mobility will
sure.
be valuable.
Smart by SwordArt getting in there in time, getting the flash edict guaranteed the kill. Who's landed going to be in time? FBI, I think he actually might have tried to cleanse thinking it was heal. I'm not sure, but either way, obviously looks pretty good. It's PowerOfEvil. And SwordArt walk by in mid lane, dematerializes the cannon, shares the wealth, and walks down to bot lane.
Yep, the Hex Bash into Dematerializer there. Looks pretty funny, but I like the attempt on the roam. You know, Abaddage was respecting the fact they didn't know where Leona is. We did see when TSM played Cloud9 last week, SwordArt was so active on the Leona, roaming towards mid lane, destroyed perks on a lot of those roams, and going to be looking to do the same thing here towards Abaddage.
And of course, with him having to, like, he ran down to help the jungler, then had to lantern out, then recall back. You know, PowerOfEvil is feeling pretty good in this lane. 5 CS lead. You can see the trading pattern he's going for is whenever there's actually a fight to be had, puts down the miasma, means you can't E out, and just puts down the poison and starts, you know, throwing out Twin Fangs. As long as he can sustain the mana pool with Adorn's Ring and a tier, it shouldn't be that hard. He's getting some pretty good hits onto Abaddage. Worth noting, with the matchup, to talk about it a bit more, Sylas can only heal by using his W on enemy champions. Because Cassio's range, the sustained nerfs don't actually hit Abaddage, because he's never Wing Cassio anyway. Like, nothing about this phase has changed in the nerfs other than his Q does 10 more damage.
I mean, unless, of course, you can hit an E. Like, if you do get up,
once
then,
you come in,
then there are those trades. But yeah, if you're just hitting minions and he's hitting you, then it doesn't matter, right? Absolutely. And I think the situation that you're in, if that is the case, you're feeling really good about as PowerOfEvil, right? Cassio wants to farm. You're starting tier on this champion. You are a scaling champion. You do have a really powerful early couple of levels, but you're gated by your mana pool. But generally speaking, I think you're going to be feeling pretty good against this sort of a team comp with 3 champions that are trying to close the gap through that.
There's almost a Hex Flash range. He's checking the brush. Yes, he's been found. Hex Flash stun. Lantern going to be clicked on it. Cannot. SwordArt finds closer again. 2-0 TSM.
Man, SwordArt has been so good this game. Move towards mid lane. The invade actually supports Spica when he was taking away the red buff. Again here, catching Closer, anticipating where he would be. Closer getting put down pretty heavily in the early levels. Looking good for TSM.
Pretty good trading hit there from FBI. The Flay is going to keep the Blade out of range. Takes the Lantern out. No problems there. Worth noting Huhi has gone Aftershock here on the Thresh instead of the more typical Guardian. So his shield provided is going to be much worse.
It is, absolutely, but I do think, especially against Leona, it can be pretty valuable. In a lot of these matchups, you're actually hitting support on support, so if you land the Flay on the Zenith Blade there, you have your Aftershock available, and you can't just get 100 or 0'd, hopefully,
for sure,
by this Jhin plus Leona.
3 stacks in SwordArt, melee 1, melee 2, and then wait for the next wave as Lost is kind of sustaining through. Rush the Swifties into a long sword, so really practicing going for the move speed. Obviously, hasn't run Cleanse himself, so Lost is really playing on the fact that he's going to be dodging the hooks and dodging the Varus arrows instead, so that's why his itemization kind of in that way. Also, with the First Blood, that was just kind of the power spike he was going to buy with you know, the boot start at the very beginning of the game, but I like the one overall. 1,100 gold lead now to TSM. Top lane is about a 10 CS difference. Ssumday just quietly having a decent start up against Huni.
Yeah, but Huni more to farm, you know, honestly looking pretty good. Has not been any jungle interference up there towards the top side, and Ssumday has not been able to really punish him enough. I think Huni's been doing a pretty good job of just kind of using the Shroud to find these little bastions of safety where he can farm. You kind of allow the Gnar to push in. You try to use that Shroud generally by your tower to just kind of farm out and be able to dip back into stealth.
And there it is, right? Puts the Shroud down. He's like, okay, cool. Nope, no problem. And he's going to just grab all this CS. Basically, it says, okay, while the wave is in equilibrium, we're kind of chilling. I'm maybe lessening with Q, but not much the autos afterwards. Okay, it's under my turret. Cool, I'll knock it down and keep going. Herald has spawned 8 minutes in, and it's going to be Ssumday taking some free time to knock down the control ward. That is 75 gold spent and 30 gold earned. We get to look at the next round as we've got 4 people into mid lane. They're running right up the Herald.
Yeah, they're going to try to force on Herald here. Spica is level 6. Closer has hit his 6 as well, so I'm not sure TSM really is going to go for this. I honestly prefer, like, when you look at the minimap, TSM's so far down towards bot, the wave's crashing, just hit the tower, and they are going to turn back and actually give it up. So they should be able to trade a plate, maybe. I don't think they'll actually get 2 in this case. But at the very least, they're getting some of that gold concentrated onto Lost. They're trading something back, and there is the cost of a full wave dying to the tower. You can also see SwordArt is actually trying to cut off this move and potentially slow them down.
105 gold every time you lose an entire minion wave. And obviously 160 for each turret plate you get. to the price of that roam. Not to count the XP as well, as another engage comes across the mid lane. Absolutely no way out. Petrify engaged into the inability to flash or dash or do anything. And TSM are 3-0.
Yeah, that's a really nice play from PowerOfEvil, threatening the roam down to the bot side, and then just camping these brushes is such a powerful way to play as Cassio. If anyone face checks you, the miasma, the ulti comes out, SwordArt with the follow-up, the flash Zenith Blade on Abeddage. They get a play mid, they get a kill in the jungle. Unfortunately, it went to SwordArt and not PowerOfEvil, but TSM looking really good in these early levels. Have absolutely shut down what 100 Thieves want to do. And 100 Thieves is generally such a good team around playing around bot lane, you know, moving towards that. And it hasn't always been about killing bot lane itself. It's been about preventing moves towards it. You know, PowerOfEvil is spotted, but Abeddage thinks he's running all the way down to potentially look for a 4-man dive. Instead, even with that little juke back, PowerOfEvil has the timing right. As Abeddage steps forward, you get stunned by the ulti, Zenith Blade comes across, you have the miasma over top so you can't dash out. Just really well done.
It is really well done, and you can see this game is just running away in TSM's favor. Next dragon spawns in just 33 seconds, and it's going to be a fast dragon stack here as well. Looking at Mountain or Ocean Soul, that's going to be pretty much raw combat power. With the gold lead, it's going to be tough to see how TSM ever loses a team fight if they're in position. So far, so great.
Yep, looking really, really good here. We'll see if 100 Thieves can get anything going for themselves. They do have the Herald. They can get some sort of a good Herald play, maybe a kill into a Herald drop. Try to really get a lot of gold from that, but for now, it looks like they just want to set up around this dragon. They have a lot of pink wards in this area. You know, kind of there's 4 pink wards all from here to here, this one kind of section. There is the one unspotted ward there from TSM, but it looks like TSM probably going to be too late to this. I think it will just be 100 Thieves grabbing the dragon. The question is there a fight afterwards? And it looks like there won't be.
Takes the smite to make it safe. Hook's going to land. Will you go on Leona? No, but Jhin opening up. This could be 100 Thieves now engaged upon Huhi puts in the box for good measure. Ult's going to land. They're going to flay back in. SwordArt, no flash, no hope, no life. Shut down goes through FBI. That is a big deal to turn this game a bit closer.
Yeah, they do get the one kill there, but honestly, that's a lot committed to get this kill. It's a lot of ultis, it's the TP. They're going to lose at least one plate on the top side. Huni even has a Sheen already, so he will have some pretty significant damage to that top side tower. I'm curious to see how many plates he gets up there. They'll drop the Herald bot. It will just be those 2 plates because it wasn't softened up whatsoever. So he's taken about a plate and a half thus far. So really, all things considered, not too bad for TSM, but still a positive play for 100 Thieves, and they're trying to exert their will on the map. You know, they had control around the dragon, and they really wanted to play kind of in this zone of power. The initial TP, I thought it was going to end up even much better for 100 Thieves when I see that the Gnar icon was actually TPing in, but it was unfortunately expiring for Ssumday as he did arrive. They take down Leona, who had no flash, but still does cost them quite a bit to do it.
It does, but we still have this 2,000 gold difference. It's okay, maybe 1.5, but obviously looking really good on the TSM side still. Yes, a good play by 100 Thieves, looking for what's going to come next, as ultimately the Herald hasn't gotten much more than what it has. And now, top lane under fire, 1 turret plate just going to be killed by minions. Ssumday actually, I mean, sadly, he's Gnar, is unable to use Demolish to get any more gold earned. Abeddage going to be able to grab this blue buff, jump away, okay, cool. Then we reset now. Got a while to the next objective. Herald several minutes out. Obviously, this Ocean Drake is 3 and change. All right, it's running out. We'll just Leona ult for the wave clear.
A lot of mythics now coming through on the TSM side. You can see 4 completed all around the same timing there for TSM, so they will be looking to fight here. You have to expect Rocket Belt, Leandries, the Gale Force, as well as the Divine Thunder all coming through. FBI, the only one who has completed one on the 100 Thieves thus far, but likely some of them will have enough gold soon, if not already on base.
True, and that'll be really important because honestly, Abeddage, trying his hardest to catch up at this point. Only done a little bit of farm, but the fact that I believe PowerOfEvil's been part of, I guess he hasn't really been part of Turret Gold to any meaningful capacity, so should be close to Mythic here on Abeddage's side. It might actually be on this wave. That's probably why he's hitting the recall. He's not low on resources, so that should be Everfrost in. That'll help him for sure.
Yeah.
And of course, waiting for Ssumday's side of it now as well. And the fact that Huni got that turret played early means a second TP makes it closer. But since Ssumday got upgraded boots, he's still waiting for that power spike. Doesn't need it for a bit, though, as we're still waiting for the neutral objectives. TSM still scaling up. Their DPS is going to be really high. Obviously, Cassiopeia is an outstanding team fighter. Jhin has troubles against tanks, but no one's a tank yet.
And Cassio kind of deals with that very well. Yeah. You have your percent HP. Cassio scales incredibly well, does have a lot of frontline damage, and it's a pretty diverse damage profile. You have the Viego, you have the Jhin in there, so there's enough physical damage threat that you can't just stack full magic resist and just kind of pretend that those champions aren't there. And I tend to really like the situation that TSM is in right now, but 100 Thieves going to be looking for plays, and even the early investment here in that stopwatch, Huhi has that ready to go and potentially could make a play with it.
I'm looking for the next big play, though, from TSM because they had such a big lead early on. I'm not sure what caused them to miss out on the second dragon, but that seemed like an easy road forward into the game. Just reset on time, play for the Drake with the gold lead, shouldn't be too hard. And that's kind of what I've seen maligned around TSM, is it feels like they are often a bit too slow for how good the team is. Hey, they come away in the end, right? Like, they're still, arguably the top team, right? Again, beating the other #1 team in the records right now. I think this is a lot of people's favorite for winning the title at the end of the year. But you always want to see, the most strengths possible. And to me, I think it's not letting the game slow down.
Absolutely. I mean, you want to be able to see teams snowball the game, crush through. I think to take the glass half full side of it, I do think TSM has really good scaling, and they may perceive that, hey, if we're just AFK farming on both sides, well, guess what? We have Cassio and Diana, and you have the Sylas, you have the Olaf. We think that we're going to be more valuable later on into the game. And if that's your read, I can respect wanting to play that more passive style. If you believe the pressure is not on you, but on your opponents to make things happen, then sometimes you're getting ahead by kind of just doing nothing. And that may be the read here from TSM, but we'll see if 100 Thieves can do anything about it.
One other note I find actually really interesting, and this is something that we've seen in the community a little bit, the idea that the game looks different from spectator than from your point of view, right? When you're in the game, you don't have vision. And so what I'm using that to jump off into is sometimes your play is preventing plays. And it looks like there's no action, but it's like, oh no, you see, we spent this time warding these certain spots that none of the roams ever land. Speaking of roams, by the way, Huni is a little bit alone in a 1v3. Spica has come around, but is it going to be enough? Gets the stun to Huhi, and indeed the resources are there. The route from FBI doesn't mean all that much. They're going to walk away. So Spica, in the right place at the right time, identified an opportunity for a dive, and nothing happens.
Yep, nicely done. Right place, right time. It does roam up, and Lost pushing in here. We'll have to be careful about the crunch into potential Mega Gnar, but as that expires, he's maybe going to be able to finish this off. Looks like it will be defended for now, but you can expect TSM to get it soon, and they are setting up around this next dragon here. Ocean Dragon will be pretty valuable, I think, for a lot of these champions. Cassio, Viego, some of these kind of drain tanky style champions, getting Ocean Soul is really, really nice. And Leona, obviously, fairly tanky, generally gets some value out of that too.
And that was a really cool play. Like, thinking about the last 1 minute there, right? Talking about from people's point of view and everything else, like, that's kind of what I'm talking about. So, TSM are supposed to own the map, right? They're up in gold, they're over 1,000, like, it should feel good. So, 100 Thieves 40 seconds ago said, okay, most teams recall and set up for Dragon. So, we're going to go hit top side because Spica should have recalled and headed towards bottom side if you just do the standard playbook. Spica recalled and headed top side. I don't know if it was wards. I don't know for sure. But he was like, what? They're not going to see Dragon. They might die by top laner. He's there. Top, like, that's really, really smart. I don't know how Spica knew. I don't know if he actually had perfect vision anyway. But, like, that's not an obvious play to read. And it turns out, like, nothing happened until he got the Dragon. But that was 100 Thieves making a smart play. And Spica also being smart, so nothing happened.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a lot of, I think, what games can become at this level is the anticipation of what your opponents will do based off of what you are showing, based off of what your expectation of their read is. And I think that's one of the cool things about jungle, right? Like, you can play a jungle game and not really make any mechanical errors, but, like, have done the wrong thing, right? Like, you go to the place, you kill the guy, you feel good about it, but really, it would have been more valuable for you to be somewhere else, right? And that's why jungle in particular, I think, is so fun to actually think about here. Spica up on that top side does have the Rift Herald. No plates available, obviously, but that tower is getting low enough. I think they're probably just going to drop it, and they're bringing Lost up here, I think, to make sure that it is indefensible when they do go for the play.
All right, this turret is absolutely dying to the charge. Just make sure you're in range for the local gold. No one's touched it in a little bit, so you can't go much farther than they are. You can stay at the edge of turret range. Okay, no problem. Huni gonna get the gold. Lost and Spica all gonna share in it. First turret finally claimed, as Jhin was never allowed to actually walk into that bot turret just before the other one falls, by the way. Stun gonna find goodbye to Abbeddage. Spica gets TSM's 4th kill of the game.
Yeah, and Ssumday's still pushing, so they're going to continue. This should be a tier 2 going down, potentially. 4 members here, they get the charge in. Will they step forward? No.
Not quite able to. Root's going to land. Can they follow Spica? Actually, close. They're not going to find the slow. And with a blast plant, it's going to be safety. That Pierce, it would not have killed anyway. Piercing arrow, so out they walk. Yes, a fair bit of damage done. Ssumday splitting on the bottom side of the map, finding a cross map for 100 Thieves. Gold difference stays at 1,700. Not insurmountable. Obviously, certainly answerable, but TSM on 2 Dragons, looking at the third and 2.5.
Yeah, and both mid and bot are so close to going down. So the gold lead isn't too big right now, but it is very close, like a couple auto attacks away.
3 autos worth 1,000 gold, right? And a stun now onto Huni. No, I think he turned around on it, so only a slow. Doesn't matter too much. Nice try by PowerOfEvil. Gonna clear mid lane.
It does have some magic resist in there, has the Merc Tread, so not going to be in as much danger as you might expect from a support versus mid laner in that situation.
And Huhi's going Mikhail's, right? That's Negatron Cloak plus the Forbidden Idol. That's the Mikhail's build path. So he's going to try to get someone else out from the Leona stun or the Cassio stun and, you know, let Abeddage or someone else keep going.
Yeah, I think it makes sense to try to keep these players aggressive, especially Abbeddage. I think, you know, he has the potential to get locked down very, very heavily, and if they're diving into the backline onto FBI, the cleanse alone potentially could not be enough.
There's the 1 auto. That's turret in bot lane gone. Stun gonna find only a slow. Huhi able to walk out of that one. Nice try by SwordArt. Top lane tower knocked down by Abeddage as well. So the turret scores have managed to remain very equal, which is impressive to see. We're now 90 seconds from Dragon, so soon is your Spidey Sense instinct. Hey, recall soon, or make sure I can hold TP to make sure I can join the fight.
Yep, 100 Thieves have been just trying to play these side lanes very heavily. They know that they are behind. They're trying to play in the side lanes, trying to split, potentially feeling like they're more powerful in the 1-3 run right now with the Sylas, with the Gnar. They've been pressuring towers, not so much answering where TSM is pushing with numbers. They get to those side lanes, they chip away at the gold lead, they're trying to keep things close, and you know, the gold lead is pretty insignificant for this next Dragon fight. You know, at this stage of the game, 20 minutes in, 1K will not decide the fight one way or the other. Potentially some of the item completions could, and you look at PowerOfEvil and TSM lost, they are both looking really strong.
Decent damage on Huhi. He puts him down to 2/3. Aftershock going to be on cooldown. Spica feeling comfy, still holding his ult, holding his flash, holding his smite. Doesn't want to all in for a support when there's a bigger fight on the horizon. Sitting in a brush now, thanks to the Ocean Rift. Mid lane not yet under fire, as the wards will go down. SwordArt going to try to retain control of this side of the jungle, as they've hit those recalls, hit those items. Ssumday is going to be turning into Gnar. He will not have Mega for the Dragon fight. This is easily knowable for both sides. That might make it hard for 100 Thieves to walk in. They are still trying to own this side of the map. Thankfully for Abeddage, he's got a Trinket Ward down there, so PowerOfEvil's reinforcements are spotted. Will not be engaged upon until they walk away. Clears out the wave. And now Closer has to sidestep. Huhi, FBI are around. Loss doesn't go in too far. Spica doesn't take any damage there either. Hook's not going to matter there either. Huhi again going to lose his Aftershock cooldown. This one will be down for the Dragon team fight. Almost better not have thrown it. As that cooldown, you can't choose when it goes off. And now Dragon is under fire. SwordArt has to get all the way back around as he can be picked off by Ssumday. 5v5 is available. Everyone's walked down to this fight. It is going down and out of vision. Dragon claimed in the front line as Abeddage, but he's got a lantern. Walked up to look for safety. Spica to lose some health here. Will be sidestepping the smite. Somebody heal comes down for loss for good measure, helping it happen. And that is a Dragon claim with no casualties.
Man, Spica's been so clean with those little sidesteps. There was multiple skill shots that he was able to sidestep. You know, in the skirmish prior, sidestepping one of those Varus Qs, again doing it there. You know, he was sitting at like 40% health afterwards. If either of those hit, you know, maybe they can't actually take that play. But TSM do control the Dragon area. They take the Dragon, as 100 Thieves aren't really able to force through that choke into them. It's very difficult to assault Cassio, who kind of has this setup zone. If you're trying to fight through Miasma, it is incredibly tough. But now with Gnar available, do they look to go?
Yeah, I mean, Ssumday clearly does not want to go in for a flash play. Can try to burst Huni, but obviously the guy has ults into flash, and Spica wants this one. Flash in for SwordArt. Huni's going to land the front lines. Spica is kiting away from all the damage, as now SwordArt is the front line himself. Jhin ult finally goes off for the 4th shot. Can't find the root, no kills.
Yeah, no kills. TSM with the push here, though, and this tower is still very, very low. But it looks like they're moving up towards Baron. At the very least, going to take some vision. Looks like they will just be resetting here after clearing out some of these wards. But faking the recall. They actually want to try to go for a Baron play here. They do have Cassio, so it can go down, but I don't think you can actually finish. At most, they can maybe look for a turn.
It looks like they know this one. Vision certainly relevant here. Huhi gonna be rooted in place. Not gonna find much more. You can see, yeah, TSM has a ton of ward control. And now it is time to get the recalls off. Mid lane under a bit of fire, so Ssumday and FB have to turn around. They'll catch that wave, though. Huni will not get any turret damage down. And obviously Ssumday can just tank up the wave and prevent any more damage from coming across. Indeed, turret stays alive.
Yep, PowerOfEvil though, up towards that top side, pushing in. TSM trying to pressure these sideways as much as they can, force 100 Thieves to actually answer the side, so maybe they can potentially finally get down this mid-tier 1. The top tier 2 also low, so a couple of towers very, very close to being captured here for TSM, and they are looking at this potential Ocean Soul.
Okay.
Two-man on the Baron here. Cassio can do this very, very quick.
Thank
and with
you, Blast
multiple
Plant.
members showing, I don't think they have any idea.
They have no idea. SwordArt shows up for good measure. Let's tank it so that Diana can do more. Excellent by TSM. They retained all of the map, and the control has given them the Baron. Snuck from mostly behind the pit 24 minutes in.
Really nicely done by TSM. They, as you say, control the vision in the area here. They show the recalls. Lost walks mid. They have members showing on the map here, and Cassio, not been played in pro for a while, and maybe underestimating the true Baron threat that this champion has. TSM will give up mid lane here, but they're pushing for the tier 2, and if you don't answer them, they have Baron on the push.
Yeah, it could be 100 Thieves saying, screw it, we're going to lose the turret anyway. But yeah, top tier 2 is gone. That is worth far more gold than mid lane outer. They're going to keep going. You can see playing pretty far up. Spica and SwordArt are looking for the inhibitor turret now itself.
Tower's dead.
100 Thieves still side laning. Ssumday going to knock down bot lane tier 2. And now we'll see the trade is yet again top lane inhibitor turret. Still, it is 2 turrets taken on each side. Just the ones TSM took were more valuable. A bottom inhibitor still under fire. This split push build for Ssumday, it's not really built for split push. He went for a Sterex Gauge, not a hull breaker. Maybe he should have. It's a thought, I guess. But gets some damage to the turret and walks back.
Yep, and he will force them to back off. So again, 100 Thieves utilizing these tactics, playing towards the side lane very heavily throughout this game. They got behind early, and they've kind of just refused the team fight since. They've been trying to take gold off the map.
Yeah.
TSM clearly wants to group in 5v5. They want to group and fight, but every time they do so, 100 Thieves are shoving out the side lanes, and it's a really good way to kind of deny what TSM is looking for. The problem is, in a minute, Ocean Soul is available, and that is a true win condition for TSM. So 100 Thieves very likely will be forced to actually fight for this, and the fight begins now, actually, a minute before, with people putting vision down. If you do not have control in this area whatsoever on the 100 Thief side, it's going to be so tough to face check through and contest TSM.
3,000 gold lead. Dragon Soul about to come online. 40 seconds away from slaying that one. And the regen makes the team fight even more impossible. 100 Thieves, for the most part, have been trying to dodge those team fights, but now it feels like that bill has come due, and they've got to look for it anyway. Gonna come through the mid side. There's control word on that brush, though. Blue Trinket used to see where they are, but they can't really claim that brush back.
And they've got no vision. Oh, trying to go
Nice
for a
rocket
little
belt.
bit of an engage there.
PoE dodging the stun as well, so all the engage was just not landing. TSM playing it mechanically so well to prevent the 100 Thieves engage tools from landing ever. They're never picked off. We're Dragon now in 10 seconds. Control wards still owned by TSM.
Yeah.
100 Thieves not allowed to walk in.
I mean, this is their furthest forward ward right there. They got nothing in the area. They're trying to clear through.
Good
but the
miasma,
dragon
it's burning.
is spawned.
Ssumday can't steal. Closer's gonna walk through
gone.
miasma. He's slowed down. He can't get in range. You've gotta be kidding me. Ssumday arrives 2 days early and grabs the dragon.
Oh no, Spica's so good at smiting too. And the random Q over the wall there takes it away. Olaf was completely zoned out by the miasma. That should have been a free Ocean Soul for TSM, but they give it over. That is definitely an oof.
You don't live. If you happen to lose this game, you never live that down. Like that's that. It's not quite double if the worlds into Crown, but it's that's one of those plays. Like, yeah, okay, my bad.
Yep, it's definitely his bad. And let's watch this some more time. I mean, maybe the fourth shot from Jhin puts it too low. Yeah, the fourth shot actually put it to like 0.
No!
So that was actually
Lost into.
That was on Lost. That wasn't on Spica because it was at 980 something.
Yep.
So it was actually above Spica's smite range. So he needed to auto and then smite it. Lost fourth shot it to basically 0, and it got smite at the same time and instantly died. So that one's not on Spica. Innocent is the judgment here from the caster desk.
Yes.
But Lost most definitely guilty.
Lost is definitely guilty.
Olaf,
That is one. That is one where you're like, okay, Olaf. And the thing is, like, Olaf is running up. Like, as soon as he's out of miasma, he's gonna try to flash. Like there is a limited time frame, but it's like let Spica auto smite. It's just let Spica auto smite. It is unlucky as well. Like, yeah. Anyway, still Lost guilty. You know, it's a lower degree charge.
Yeah.
But
it's a misdemeanor.
It's only a misdemeanor here for Lost, but we have still been found guilty. It might be a suspended sentence, might only be a fine. We're going to keep this one going for a little while because nothing else happening.
I'm going to lock you up if you keep this going. So let's move on. TSM, this has bought more time for 100 Thieves. 100 Thieves are clearly not trying to 5v5. They're trying to take away dragons. They're trying to push the side lanes, and TSM are looking for that fight. Viego will have to ult over the wall, but I think it's just going to honestly be rinse and repeat. Wait for that 4th dragon here, unless there is some sort of X factor, some sort of big play that is made to really force someone's hand. TSM can't get the fights they want. 100 Thieves are not looking to fight, so we wait for dragon.
Yeah, why not? And hey, and this time we got some heroics out of Ssumday. This time around, they're going to look for, the next big setup for them because the map has been slowly bleeding out. Oh, speaking of bleeding out, FBI also not allowed to walk into his own jungle. Big fight in the bottom side. They've knocked down Cassiopeia as well. What else are we going to get as Leona's into the fray? We got a battle coming across right now, and it's closer forced to run away. Huhi lands himself a stun. Abbeddage gets away from the root, but he's going to be locked down all the same. And it's TSM winning 2-1.
Yeah, they get 2-1 there. Can they push for more? They have the wave coming in. They want to try to break the base here and are pushing heavily. Huhi fishing for the hook, and Olaf is back on the map, but Olaf without ulti, really not that threatening without FBI or Abbeddage. I don't think they can actually defend this whatsoever.
So here we go. Bottom inhibitor will be slain. We've got a Baron in 10 seconds, Dragon Soul in 2 minutes. Those are objectives you'd love to fight for while your opponent is down an inhibitor. This is TSM with a lot of map control.
Absolutely. Baron here, as you say, spawning. You can see so many assist pings going on over towards that Baron. See this one? Oh, that was such a nice sidestep by Ssumday. The actual instant turn away from the ulti, dodges the stun, turns back immediately there. They do get the kill. He has to actually TP out because he is so low and expecting to go down. Knows that this is a lost fight, whether he joins or not. But unfortunately, it does mean Abbeddage goes down. FBI had previously gone down in the jungle. So pretty pricey catch onto their marksman for 100 Thieves. They are trying to get some Baron vision here.
Oh, nearly. That hook could have been a lot of damage into Spica. He's able to get away from it, though. Root's going to land. Not going to be a kill into Huhi just yet. Both bot laners are on 3 full items and upgraded boots, so similar power levels here. Great farm by FBI. Good kills by Lost. And the top river is the area of attention. Top scuttle. Going to go no problem to Huni. We know that Dragon coming up in 50, though. SwordArt not quite going to be rooted in place. An attempt there from Abbeddage, as now he's got the Leona ulti, constantly going for that one, right? He's the primary engage. Varus and Thresh, it's kind of hard to land those long-range skill shots, but Leona, rain from above, lead the charge.
This is the problem right here. Super stacking in the bot lane. All TSM has to do is chill. Just stand around the Baron, wait for that pressure to mount. Someone has to go back and answer this. That is enough minions that will just be killing your Nexus towers here. And there's no TPs on 100 Thieves' side. So this is like a checkmate-esque situation for TSM. As soon as you see someone there, you know they cannot TP. You can move over towards the Dragon, take this, because it is very low risk as far as the damage it is doing to you compared to the Baron.
They're going for the brush instead. Blue Trinket is available for Abbeddage, though. So
just have PoE solo it, everyone else zones.
Yeah, I think they sent Spica to do so, as he's going to be the one smiting at the end of the day. Huni just kind of marking the rest of the team. Okay, they're sending PoE with him. Actually, PoE and Lost, yeah. They're going to burn this one down. Spica, as you mentioned, actually is the one staying in the jungle. So that is burned down. There's your 1300 damage crit. That's what he was hoping for at a different point in time, and that is Dragon Soul earned. Team fighting now even harder for 100 Thieves.
And they still have no TP, and there's the push on bot side. So now they just have to flip the Baron. They really have no choice here. They have been checkmated. TSM looking to stop this. 100 Thieves on potentially their last shot in this game.
Those are taking some damage. Huni going for the slow flank play. The vision's good enough that they know how much time they have got. Hook's gonna land on the front line. Spica gonna be flayed in stun. Only finds a slow, but FBI is a target. And FBI goes down, and it's time to go for the rest. Cassiopeia is untouched. Already they're on to 4, and it's time for number 5. Nowhere else to go. The Gnar buys a few moments, but it will not buy the win. 11-2. TSM from the first moment crushed 100 Thieves at every turn.
Full control, start to finish, quadra for Huni to end it. TSM play the map well, win the early game, and run over 100 Thieves late.
Beautifully done by TSM. They take down maybe their fiercest competition, starting the last week of the regular season off with a bang.
Man, that was honestly really well done in the final moments from TSM.
Yeah.
You know, no real kind of like over-eagerness or heavily forcing there at the Baron, at the Dragon. They handled that endgame situation, I think, incredibly well. They knew 100 Thieves has no TPs, bot lane inhib is down, all you have to do is chill. I also think had they gone for Baron, that is the much more risky option. So taking Ocean Soul first, there was really no recourse. Even the setup around it meant that Leona as well as the Diana are waiting in the brush for a turn if anyone does show up.
Yeah.
Gnar is showing bot, he can't join the fight. So even in that situation, you have a 5v4 where you have vision, they guarantee the soul. There is still this push on the bot side. So the 100 Thieves Baron looks silly, but they had to force because they're still in the same spot. Now it's Ocean Soul. They can tank the Baron endlessly. Their supers are going to kill your base. You've got no TP.
Yeah.
So they have to flip the Baron, and TSM just annihilates them. This was just a really well orchestrated endgame.
Yeah, so this game was played close. The Baron sneak, I feel like, really broke the game open.
Absolutely.
Huge by TSM. Well done to them. Alone in first place. Now, after the break, we're joining the State Farm Analyst to break down that win from our first place team, TSM, and so we'll see